What's up, y'all? Back for day 7 of learning Brazilian Portuguese, using today, Sunday, as a little review day from everything I went through this week. Again, before I jump into today's review for myself, why I'm here, the short story is last year I accumulated over about 1,000 minutes on Duolingo and, some learning from my girlfriend. We got to Brazil at the end of the year and was at the beach with her family for like 8 days. And while there were lots of things in my brain I knew, my ability to actually speak that and connect it in a meaningful way was pretty much non-existent. So there's a gap between knowing and speaking I think a lot of people struggle with. And I think in that gap for a lot of people sits fear, right? Fear of other people's opinions, fear of sounding stupid, fear of being inadequate, incompetent, whatever it is. I know for me, that's the case. And I could think of no other way to get over it than just go through it. And if I can't be in Brazil working and practicing the language every day, I can come on YouTube and hold myself accountable to speaking publicly and working through that fear. So that's what I'm here doing. I've got a year until hopefully I'm living there full time, as we just got engaged. And I want to be able to arrive in there a year from now, being able to make my way around the country without too much assistance and pretty comfortably. So my big focus for the month of February, and one of the things that when I was down there with her family, I really wanted to do was kind of express myself, right? Express who I am, my wants, my needs, my likes, my dislikes. And so I'm spending the month of February working on learning to express myself. And I'm taking this as the approach of just building some really simple sentence structures and then expanding the vocabulary on top of those things, and then finding as many times throughout a day or week to use that in day-to-day life with minha noiva, my fiance. So a quick recap from the week. Number 1, I started off with just expressing like who I am. Mi nome é Alex, right? My name is Alex. And then I got into expressing who I am in relations to others. So it was like, estou filho, right? I'm a son. Estou irmão, I'm a brother. And estou noivo. Most recently, I'm a fiance. And then also just like why I'm here, right? And that was estou aqui para falar português. I'm here to speak Portuguese. I'm not here to speak it perfectly right now. I'm not here to speak it fluently. I'm here just to get the words out of my mouth, however imperfectly or perfectly that may be. One thing at a time. And right now, consistency and showing up day in and day out is the most important thing. So after I kind of got comfortable expressing who I am in relations to others, I moved into things that I like, right? And so saying I like, eu gosto de, or gosto de. So that's like one simple sentence structure I like. And then I also got into expressing how I feel. So sentindo, to feel. And what I learned also too is that you don't always say sentindo. Sometimes it's just like with something. So I might say eu sentindo cansado. I am feeling tired. Or you might say eu com fome, like I'm with hunger. And also you could just drop the estou, or I said io, I think it was actually estou. And you could drop sentindo and just like tô cansado, right? So estou shortened down to tô cansado. So that'd be another way. I want to kind of learn the full, more formal way of saying stuff, and I'll kind of learn the slang and more fluent version as time goes on, but it's good for me to have knowledge of both. But again, trying to learn the more formal stuff now, and more informal will come just through daily life. Let's see, what else? I talked about things that I want, right? So quero, to want. And then also need. Preciso, that SC really gets me. Preciso de or precisa de. So those were kind of the main sentence structures I learned last week. I did end up going shopping yesterday. Yesterday it was eu preciso de sapatos novos. Zapatos would be shoes, but like more like nice dress regular shoes. Really what I needed was running shoes. So it would have been eu preciso de tênis novos, new sneakers, new tennis shoes, and for me, running shoes. I think that's it. So that's it for week 1. day 7, just a quick little review going through that. And over the course of this next week, I'm just going to be using what comes up in daily life for me and expanding my vocabulary. So right now, in terms of like my feeling words, I've got cansado, tired. I've got com fome, hungry. But I've got feliz, happy. I've got a lot more feelings inside me, and so I'll be working on learning to express those a little bit more. Be learning maybe more with food when I talk about likes and dislikes or wants. Just going to kind of use daily life to provide the context for what I learn. All right, learning happens best when, number 1, it's in context. Number 2, it's active, like I'm doing right here. Number 3, it's spaced apart, so I'm working on recall, not like in a 5-minute span, but every couple days I want to try to recall things that I learned a few days ago. That little stumbling block in your brain and your memory, that recall, helps rewire that. And then one of the other things that helps solidifying it is just teaching it, which is why I'm coming on YouTube every day and trying to teach what I learned to help solidify it even deeper. A year's not a lot of time to really learn a new language and be dropped into another country. And I've got to use every resource at my disposal to make it happen. The other thing I'm working on is using Notebook LM on AI to drop my videos into to provide some like infographics and slide decks and also like a podcast, which is pretty cool. So I'll be posting some of that. And my goal is then also to take what I'm learning in Portuguese and flip this into a English version. So if you are Brazilian and you speak Portuguese and you want to start learning English, you'll be able to kind of learn it and have a structure to do it in a similar way that I am. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. So far, it's been going good for me this week, and I think I've spoken more Portuguese just in this week with my partner, minha noiva, than I have probably in the last few months just by gaining a little confidence here. Happy Sunday, y'all. Go Hawks. Cheers.